Morning, zombies. Are we alive yet? Are we awake yet? Are we emotionally screwed up or sleep deprived? Are we emotionally deprived and sleep screwed up? It's 10:25 in the morning, West Coast time. It's the 7th of December, 2023. We were trying to see Roseman, California, freaked out. Last night, yesterday we had a lot of things happening, didn't we? We had a shooting happening in Vegas at the university. And then we had the fourth debate from the Four Dinglings of the GOP. There was a lot of tragedy, and there was a lot of things to talk about regarding the primary. But this is what scares the hell out of me. I woke up a few minutes ago, looked at some information on my local. I've got the other computer up right now, so scared the hell out of me. This bastard who went on a campus and did a shooting range. What was being reported by CNN, he was a career professor with connections to other schools, sources say. 67-year-old fart. He's trying to get a job over at the University of Las Vegas, and they're still trying to get more information out of this one. It's what limited information I do have, and I'm still trying to read this thing even as I speak. I wish the guy was taken alive because they would get more information out of him, so they're going to have to clean a lot of things. But this guy came on, tried to apply for a job. They refused. He comes back with a weapon and starts shooting up the place, but it wasn't students he was killing or trying to shoot at. It was faculty and staff. I mean, one moment when I get a little bit more for you. Okay, sorry. They had him named, at least on the ABC News website. So, yeah, my hands are just giving me crap this morning. Get off my damn screen. Okay, so what they were reporting on ABC7 on this one. I'll go by what I have here. Anthony Polito, age 67. Now, at one time the authorities over there weren't releasing the name, but other sources identified the guy. He applied as a professor, but was not hired. He had worked as a professor in North Carolina and Georgia. It wasn't clear if he was intentionally targeting. He wasn't targeting students. The ones that were injured or killed were the faculty or staff members in the place, and they were still trying to sort it out. He came on the campus. Actually, the shooting happened at 11:45. I didn't exactly say what type of weapon he used. There were a lot of students out there, and it wasn't him. It wasn't them that he was shooting at. There was a lot of cops getting onto the campus. They got him out. Students. But I didn't see. I'm still scrolling through the thing. What kind of weapon he actually had. Didn't say. I would be assuming at this point, if he wasn't having heavy duty artillery, he probably had a handgun with a few clips. But I can't assume what kind of weapon it was, but he was shooting something at people. He was shooting bullets at some kind of gun. They didn't identify. The cops were still trying to put that together. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna fix something real fast. This is driving me crazy on this one. An applicant goes on the campus, is trying to apply for a professorship. Maybe the positions were filled, or something else happened. Maybe they didn't like him for some reason. Maybe the interview went nutty on this one. But there was something about him that they didn't. I don't know. Maybe he had bad vibes or something. Whatever it was, they refused to hire him. And he just went off. Initially, we don't know why. That's why the investigation's still ongoing right now. Yeah, this gets my goat. It's one thing if I have a stranger coming on the campus, and he was a stranger. Maybe about a 20s or 30s, freaking out. Maybe he was a student that got pissed off at a professor. But this wasn't. This wasn't an applicant that came on there who was looking for a job on the campus. That's the professor. Hello. Hello. CNN.
Fire at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas just before noon. He was killed after engaging with officers on campus. A law enforcement source tells CNN the man was a college professor, though it's unknown what his link to this university was. Police are still trying to find out what the motive was for the attack. This shooting, along with another tragic string of homicides by gun violence in Texas, prompted US President Joe Biden to ask Congress for tighter gun legislation again. CNN's Aaron Bonnet spoke with a university student who was in a class in the same building where the shooting occurred. He thanks his professor for getting the students out safely, and here's part of that conversation for you.
I was in my business law class, and my professor was going over our lecture. Mid-lecture, I remember we heard a loud noise. It sounded like, it didn't sound like a gunshot. It didn't have that bass behind it, and it wasn't that. To me, it didn't sound like a gunshot, but I heard a loud noise. And one of my classmates stopped the lecture. She interrupted the professor, and she was like, "What was that noise?" And everybody was kind of wandering around. Our professor and everybody, we all agreed, we always hear a bunch of strange noises. So he continued back to his lecture, and about 5 seconds in, that's when the alarm came on. And I immediately took my phone out because, first off, I've never heard an alarm like that before. It didn't sound like a fire alarm or anything. We were all pretty calm though. None of us, we did hear that loud noise, but none of us were panicking or freaking out. We just thought maybe it was a fire alarm or maybe a false alarm or something. So we started to pack our things up very nonchalantly. Like I said, none of us were panicking. When we started walking out the class, that's when things got real. My teacher went to let us out the door, and I remember he opened the door, and he was calm before opening the door, and as soon as he opened it, his face, it looked like he saw something, and he kind of turned into panic a little bit, and he immediately told us to get back, lock the doors, and get on the ground. And that's when I started to panic a little bit when he told us to to get on the ground. Because, if the shooter came into the building and in our classroom, we were all just basically sitting ducks. So after about 30 seconds, my teacher, he like sneakily opened the door again, and he assessed the situation, and he looked outside, and he told us to run as fast as we can. And I'm grateful for him, because if he didn't let us out, and we were stuck in that classroom, and who knows if the shooter came in, we were all just sitting ducks. So I had full trust in my teacher, and when he opened the door and he told us to run, I knew we had to run.
Nevada grand jury has indicted 6 Republicans for acting as...
Okay. Okay. So that was one of the students that was in a class at the university who heard the shot, and then they had the alarm from school security. That's the thing that would scare the hell out of people left and right, especially if they're a student there and they have the alert, they have the alarm. I have the alarm. They have my number on my cell phone, and this is supposed to be protecting us students out there. If we know something about it, if we see an alert on there, then the professors are supposed to have procedures set up to where, and I hope they've been trained on this one enough, but have to use their own discretion at that point. What to do in the event there is a shooting. Keep this in mind. Over the past 30 years, roughly, as much as my memory goes, prior to 30 years, we didn't have this kind of situation happening. We didn't have this kind of situation happening on an ongoing basis. We didn't have professors having procedures to protect students regarding a lunatic coming onto campus to kill people. We didn't have alert systems. We didn't have anything like that back in the 80s when I went to college. Back in 1985, when I graduated out of John F. Kennedy High School in Granada Hills, California, we didn't have any kind of things like that. But we did have we didn't not exactly have school shootings during the classes, but there were shootings, beatings from gang members we had to worry about. We had to worry about gang fights. We had to worry about uh, little fights happening on the campus. Sometimes racially motivated, sometimes motivated by something else. And it would scare the hell out of them. It would scare the living crap out of them. There had been rumors, there have been stories circulating around when I was going over there that we would have police escorts for our sports teams every time they went over to San Fernando. City of San Fernando actually had their high school. They were still in the LA City area, but they're also an incorporated city by themselves. They actually had still part of LA County because San Fernando Valley was still part of it, but part of the LA Unified School District area. This was the scariest damn thing during those days. We would have cops escorting teams back and forth because there was always a riot or a gang or something like that happening when San Fernando came to Kennedy. Now, when I was going to high school there, I was like a few blocks away from Kennedy High School. I was on a street, but I was like about 5 or 6 minutes walking distance from the campus. So I would have lunch at home. We'd had about 40 45 minutes roughly for lunch. Give me enough time to walk home, fix the food, wolf the food, and walk the hell out. Go home. Or just pack the lunch. Keep it in my locker. Some people did. Or if they actually had money, they'd go off campus or stay on campus and have the food. I don't think I ever ate lunch there. But there have been stories traded, and every once in a while I'd see security and LAPD walking across the campus in different areas with weapons, confiscated. It was crazy during those days. But not deadly to the point where we had to lock down everything. Where we had to lock down the campus, where we had to lock down everything. Where some student or teacher or whoever was going to be coming in with a gun ready to shoot the high school up, or anybody else for that matter. We didn't have that. Maybe stabbings. Somebody would be bringing a knife to the campus, but we didn't have that. And going over to Pierce College, we didn't have that either. It was unheard of. We didn't have cell phones during those days. They were just coming out with the pagers, I think. I think maybe in the 90s they actually came out with the damn pagers. But we didn't have any cell phone technology. Not that I'd seen, not that I... We had payphones all over the damn place. There wasn't a communication network for the students to keep track of what the hell was going on for emergencies. We didn't have any of this kind of emergency. We didn't have anybody trying to kill you on campus. We kept everything civil. There was no fighting. We were supposed to be acting as adults, as mature people, as you're a kid coming onto an adult campus, so you're supposed to act as an adult. But we didn't have the shootings. So until the 90s, when I'm working at different jobs, I've heard of stories about people going nuts on at their jobs or somewhere else. They were going quote unquote postal. We actually had postal workers going nuts. Great. What the hell are they going crazy for? Oh, let's see. Maybe a problem with delayed mail and people are freaking out about this thing. Maybe dealing with traffic or something else. Any number of weird ass reasons. They don't like dogs. Dogs don't like them. People trying to make fun about the damn thing. Well, we didn't have it on an ongoing basis. Once in a while, people getting stressed out on their job, so they go nuts on a job. The adults going nuts on the job. But we didn't have kids going nuts. We didn't have adults going on campuses and shooting people up. Now we do. Now we do. We have a 67-year-old fart who had been employed as a professor from one state to another state for some reason. Why he didn't stay there in the first place, I don't know. But he didn't. And because he didn't, and he's in Nevada applying for work. This is weird. This is weird for me because now it's getting more and more scarier. Maybe a 20-year-old, maybe a 30-year-old, maybe a 40-year-old. But a 67-year-old man coming onto campus, shooting people specifically? You know, I would imagine some of the 20 and maybe a couple of 30-year-olds would have mental health issues, and they had an issue with either faculty or maybe they had a problem with a student and decided to go nuts on that one. But this is upping the stakes on this one. I've heard about serial killers preying on other people. But going on a college campus like this, going on a college campus, and just shooting faculty, staff, I guess the ones that really pissed him off. They didn't say what type of weapon he had. Now, normally, every time, normally, they would give us a little bit more information, law enforcement would, of what kind of weaponry the shooter was using. And I've yet to hear a female going on a college campus and shooting people left and right. It's usually males having the issues. But this is scary. This is scary. This is scary. I don't know what the hell we're supposed to be doing, to tell you the truth. I'm trying to find the right words to say and talk about this one. It's like seeing one of my professors having a conniption fit and taking it out on his fellow peers. Or maybe the professor gets terminated, has an issue one way or another with administration, goes on a nutty, and then we see this happening. Yeah. I can understand the students being in a little bit of a panic regarding the situation, because after you hear a pop, it's like, what's going on? Out here in Roseman, quiet Roseman, we get our fair share of the pops in the middle of the night. We got critters walking around all over the place on four legs. Every once in a while, I'll hear in the middle of the night, I'll hear the pop, 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 pop. Not just for fun. Warning off the critters or trying to kill off the damn critters. That's a different thing altogether. When you have shots fired in a neighborhood and you get used to it. Every time I keep hearing the shots fired, I'm indoors. I'm not taking any chances. When we actually have holidays coming up that involves massive celebrations, such as New Year's is coming up in a few weeks. What's scaring the hell out of me is we're going to be running into fireworks. And sometimes when I'm hearing the fireworks going off, I'm going to try to determine whether or not if we have fireworks going up in the air or is it going to be all artillery. Pieces of lead go up in the air and then get pulled down by gravity, and they do become deadly weapons. But to hear it on a college campus, to hear it on a college campus, I don't think I've ever lived in a period of time where I have to be constantly afraid of being on a college campus, where I have to keep an eye. Oh, there's my dog. Where I have to keep an eye on what's going on. Where I have to keep an ear out beyond the usual chatter or music. What I'm listening for outside is I'm listening for something that's not usual. That would be my dog. That's usual. So I'm ending this one on this note here.